Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be reviewing Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. This is the second book in the Throne of Glass series. If you have not read Throne of Glass, this video will spoil you just because this is the second book in the series. So I will go ahead and link below my review for Throne of Glass. And if you have read Throne of Glass but you have not read Crown of Midnight yet, this will be half-half. I will start the beginning of my review with non-spoilers, and then I kind of will dive in a little bit deeper into my thoughts on this book, which will include spoilers. I am honestly stumped for words about this book. Things went from slow, taking their time, slowly progressing, to a complete 180, and I don't know what the heck happened. Things just got so freaking crazy in this book. There's just no words to describe it, honestly. Like, as I was finishing this book, I was shaking and sweating. It was just quite an experience. This book did a number on me. So it is the end of the competition, and Celaena is now the king's champion, or his personal assassin. She is given names per the king's request to assassinate, but there is a little twist with how she is handling her assassinations. There is also thought to be a group of rebellions, and honestly that's pretty much all I can say as far as a synopsis without giving away too much. This book starts out really slowly, and then in the last maybe like 80 or so pages it really starts to just get intense. The writing of this book is amazing, just like the first one. Sarah J. Maas's writing just gets more sophisticated. Although it was a little bit slower paced, I think she did a really good job at keeping up the pace, if that's not contradicting myself. I felt like maybe if another author had written it, the first 3/4 of the book would have just dragged on more than it did. So I feel like she did a really good job moving us along fairly quickly at the pace that we're going, because not much happens in the first 3/4 of the book. A lot more character development happens. We learn more about Celaena's assassin skills, which is awesome. We really get to see her in action in this book, which is so great. We learn a lot more about Chaol. Chaol's character development is huge compared to Throne of Glass. We don't get to see as much of Dorian, but what we do get to see I really liked. One of my biggest problems in Throne of Glass was I wasn't sure how I was going to like Dorian. He kind of seemed a little dull to me, a bit of a wuss, but in this book he really steps up his game. I'm excited to see what there is to come with Dorian. Although he is still lacking a lot of character development, I feel like Dorian's time is probably going to shine in the later books. And if you are at all curious, I am Team Chaol. Team Chaol all the way. So let me know what team you are down below. We also learn a little bit more about the king in this book. We see a little more of his evil side and how cruel he can be. There is also a lot more magic. I love the magic system in this book. It uses ancient texts in order to create magic, which is so cool. I also love the world building. I personally think that it's not too slow of a world building. I personally like it when we are gradually introduced to more of this massive world. Since this is going to be a 6-book series, I have a feeling this world that Sarah J. Maas has created is going to be fairly complex. I like to be introduced to it kind of slowly. You really get to learn more about a specific city and culture before you move on to kind of the next, instead of just being completely immersed in this just huge new land. There's also 2 huge twists at the end that I had no idea. I was shaking as I read that part. I did not see it coming. And then there is another part that I semi saw coming. is amazing. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The only reason I gave it a 4.5 stars is because of that more slower pace at the very beginning. Now, if you have not read Crown of Midnight, I highly suggest you go read it and come back and watch the remaining part of this review. Alright guys, let's dive into spoilers on Crown of Midnight. Okay, first things first. Did anyone else see Nehemia getting killed? I had no idea. No idea. It wasn't maybe until she had that conversation with Queen Elena that I'm like, oh my goodness, she is up to something and she's gonna do something drastic. But I wasn't thinking that she was gonna essentially like sacrifice herself. And then we kind of got to see a glimpse of her towards the end when Celaena opened that portal. So I'm wondering, are we gonna be seeing more of Nehemia? That would be really cool. I have a feeling she isn't completely gone from the story because she seemed like she was gonna be such an important part of this story. To kill her off in the second book seemed a little premature to me. I am also extremely confused with the whole obsidian and the rings and the clock tower and the labyrinth. That was a really creepy part. What I really liked out of that scene was how Dorian and Celaena finally kind of reconciled. Their friendship is really starting to grow and they're really starting to care for one another, which I really like because I am, as I said before, I wasn't too sure if I'd like Dorian, but now I really am loving Dorian. I love the fact that he has magic. It is awesome, and it's not whatever type of magic the king is using, it's raw magic. I guess his is real, like he's got magic in his blood. I don't know, this is just a theory, but I'm wondering if he is the king's like biological son. The fact that all of a sudden he has like true magic powers. It's just a theory. I have no idea. Kind of going back to the whole obsidian and the rings. So Roland has a ring, Duke Parrington has a ring, and the king has a ring. I thought that his cousin was maybe involved in a lot of this, kind of like whatever the king is up to, until Roland started having all of those headaches like Caltaine did. I'm not understanding the whole clock tower, and if the clock tower is connected to the labyrinth or the basement of the library, it seemed like no one had been down in a long time. So if he built the clock tower and it's connected, how is it that he hadn't been down there? I don't know. It's just, that seemed really weird to me. I don't really fully understand it. I need to kind of maybe go back and reread it and maybe try to understand it a little bit better. I also love Celaena and Chaol's relationship in this book. As I said, I am Team Chaol all the way. So seeing Chaol and Celaena together was awesome. I think that's why the plot also didn't go as slow for me, because I am Team Chaol and this was a very heavily Chaol-Celaena book. Then it was very pleasant for me to read. And then when Celaena finds Nehemia's dead body and she goes psycho, like a switch just gets turned off and she goes crazy, and she takes it out on Chaol because Chaol didn't tell her that there was threats against Nehemia's life, and I thought that she was going to like snap out of it. I didn't actually think that she was going to kill him. She blatantly says she was going to kill him to Dorian if Dorian hadn't have like used his magic to stop her, which I thought was crazy. We're learning so much about Celaena. In the first book, although we knew she was a ruthless assassin, she seemed to have so much feelings and cares for other people, and especially throughout this book, she never wanted to hurt Chaol, and then all of a sudden she just made a huge irrational decision. I loved seeing her skills. They're awesome. My favorite scene is when she goes to rescue Chaol from the rebellion. Oh my god, it's just awesome how when she finds that note that Kale was kidnapped, it actually gave me goosebumps, just the way she reacted. She said how everything just went cold in her body, and if they wanted Ardalin's assassin, then they would get her. And she basically just kicked ass, and it was awesome. Now we're starting to learn that Celaena is actually pretty frightening. And we know why, because she is part Fae, and that is something that I wasn't expecting. I had a feeling she was going to be part something. She was definitely going to be magical, but it's interesting how she never told us that she was part Fae. She kept all of her secrets to herself up until the ending of the book, when Arthur is telling her that they're looking for the rightful queen. She thinks they're crazy, and surprise, it's her. Like, what the heck? We were in the dark the entire time. It makes sense about her being Fae with her eyes, and why she's always looking down when she goes to see the king. She doesn't want him to know that she may not be fully human. Also, I think it's interesting how from the brief moment that we get from the king's perspective, he has no idea that's what Celaena is. He honestly thinks that she is faithful to the crown and that she is enjoying assassinating and killing people, when in reality she is faking their deaths. I honestly had no idea. I started this book and I'm like, man, she really is hardcore, and she really is a ruthless assassin, until we find out that she is actually not killing. I thought it gave us more insight to her character and how complex her character is. And now that we know that Celaena is Fae, are Faes good or evil? I couldn't really figure it out. So the witches, which, by the way, that was a freaky part with Baba Yellowtails. I was first of all screaming at her and Dorian. First of all, Dorian, I'm sorry, but you're dumb. Come on, let's use a little bit of common sense. You're starting to become a little smarter. You're developing your magic. Good. Be smart about it. Don't be stupid and just parade your questions all over the place. And of course, Celaena had to go to his rescue and, you know, enter the freaking van. And of course, like, this witch tries to eat her, like in freaking Hansel and Gretel. But we know that the witches are bad, and we know that there is a clan of witches, so I have a feeling we're gonna see more of the witches. But I am curious about the Fae. Let me know down below if you understood that part of the book, because there's different times in the book where it talks about different battles with the Fae. And of course, we come to one of our bigger shocking moments of this book, and that is that Archer is freaking behind it all. Did not see that one coming. And he was the one who organized Nehemia's death, which once again, I did not see that coming. I am glad he's dead. When she was about to let him go, I was thinking, Celaena, that is a mistake. That is a mistake. And then of course, stupid idiot had to go and open his mouth. So of course, and she slits his throat. I am so happy at the end that Celaena and Kale reconciled, because I think that they belong together and I ship them 100%, but I think that Kale is really smart and he needs to know what's going on. He's really going to be able to help Celaena figure this out. And obviously he is smart. I mean, he sends her away to the land of the Faes without anyone really knowing what his agenda is. I'm really interested to see how this magic system is also going to be expanding. We are introduced to these weird keys, which are these 3 keys that allow you to open up different realms. I am really excited to start Heir of Fire. Hopefully we're gonna see a lot more from different perspective. I have a feeling we're gonna see Kale from his homeland, and then Dorian from the castle. We're gonna probably get introduced to the witches. We're probably gonna get introduced to maybe newer realms, and now we're about to go meet the Fae. And then I have a feeling that we haven't finished with Nehemiah's family either. I'm assuming. These are all theories. I haven't read the book yet. I haven't even started it yet. I am very sorry. This review is kind of all over the place. I couldn't really organize all my thoughts for this review, so I did the best I could. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you next time with another video. Bye!